guy too much. I think it's the longest we will ever have been away from each other. But he gets to stay with his nanny, so he'll be happy.
Welcome to this edition of Car Rides.
Woohoo! We got a 9-hour drive to Chicago first.
Several song-filled hours later.
Where's my confirmation number?
We made it to Chicago, but now they make digital keys. So you have to sign up on your phone to get in your room, which takes up a lot of time as an inconvenience. So we don't understand.
I'm ready to be in Europe.
Tomorrow.
A few minutes later. A little longer than a few minutes later.
You said you just push it up against it.
Really?
Moments later.
Definitely not working.
More moments later. Much later.
Praise Jesus, hallelujah. We in. You guys, I'm about to cry. I've been waiting years to come back here. My dad used to live around Chicago.
World famous.
Excited. I'm so excited!
World famous,
My
man.
finger is in the lens like
What's
an old
up?
person. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm so excited.
So much cheese. So worth it though.
Oh my gosh. This is as good as I remember. We're at the beach.
We found the beach. Trippy.
Yeah. So after we explored Millennium Park, we walked the Navy Pier and then we headed from there to the airport. We don't get to sit together.
It's okay, I'm behind you. Prime back scratching positions.
Yes! We got delayed, but we're finally on.
Huh?
I said we got delayed, but we're finally on. Really nice, man. Switch seats so we get to sit together now. About to take off to go to London. I don't know why I'm talking so close to the camera. Okay, bye. This plane's gonna a broken flange. Westminster.
Westminster.
It's so pretty. So when we finished with Westminster Abbey, we walked through Trafalgar Square to go pick up our bags at the train station. basically for the rest of the night we just kind of walked around near our hotel and explored, and we grabbed some dinner, which was just like pasta that was takeout, and we just kind of chilled. We're in the smallest elevator, I think.
We're gonna be in that movie Devil. Don't watch it. You'll be scared like me.
You like this close-up of my face?
Pretty close.
Okay, so we just arrived in Paris and checked into our Airbnb. It's a little small, but it's got a cute little view out the window. So here's what it looks like. It's pretty neat. Yep, and then the bathroom is really little. And let's see. Yeah, I don't really know if I'm gonna fit in the shower, but we will see. So I kind of wanted to explain what happened to us yesterday because I didn't really talk about it a whole lot, but yesterday was kind of stressful for us. So we got into London. Our flight was actually 3 hours delayed, so they kept like pushing the time back every 20 minutes, and it ended up being 3 hours delayed. So we were supposed to get there at like 9 and we ended up getting there at noon, and so that cut off like 3 hours of our itinerary, which London was like already really tight schedule, so we had to rush. And the one thing I really wanted to do in London was see Westminster Abbey, and they don't let people in after 3:30, and so we were like pushing it on time by the time we went from the airport all the way there. And then we had to find a way to store our luggage, so we had to like run 20 minutes, store our luggage really fast, run back, and then we got in line for Westminster like perfect timing because they closed like an hour later, and so we got to do that. And I'm so glad we rushed because like Cody, we were kind of like, oh, should we risk it, because we didn't even know if we would get in, but we did, and we're really glad we did because it was beautiful. Like it was so, we were just in awe standing in there, like all the detail that was in that church and just all the history in it. So yeah, I'm really glad we got to do that. Hopefully our flight isn't delayed when we go back to London, so that way we have time to actually do other things on our itinerary. But I'm glad we got Westminster done because we wouldn't be able to do it the next time because they would be closed by the time we got there. But yeah, so that was our first day. We just went to London, saw Westminster, and then went to Paris. We took a train into Paris. I only got like 2 or 3 hours of sleep the night before and also last night, so I'm running on adrenaline. But we're in Paris today and we're gonna explore Paris. So we started off our morning bright and early. We left our Airbnb around 6:30 and walked to a little town called Montmartre. The streets there was like nobody there. It was crazy. But we went to a basilica called the Sacré-Cœur, and we actually went in and they were having a service, so we stood in there for a little bit and listened and walked around, and it was very beautiful, and the views outside were really beautiful as well with the sun rising. So to the right of the Sacré-Cœur, there is what they call the sinking home, and basically it's just an optical illusion. It looks like the home is sinking when you move your camera a certain way, so we had some fun with that. Okay, we finally found something that's open to give us food. Chocolate, I don't know if these are croissants or what type of bread.
Pretty good.
Finally found water too. Praise Jesus. Update, this is delicious. So then we went to the wall of I love yous. It actually has I love you written in 311 languages on the wall. And we actually didn't really feel safe there. There was a man that was kind of lurking around. So that's why we have our bags on in our pictures. There's a lot of pickpocketers in the area. So we kind of just wanted to get out of that town after that just because we didn't feel super safe. But on our way out, we found a really colorful basketball court and Moulin Rouge.
Moule, avoué, ce soir. Ce soir. I don't know the words.
You're basically French now.
Yeah.
So we ended up missing our bus like twice somehow, but we finally made it to the center of Paris, and the first thing we did was we went into the Saint Chapelle, which is a chapel. It has really beautiful stained glass windows. Sorry if this footage is making you a little dizzy, I was trying to give you the full effect. So then we walked over to Notre Dame. It was still fenced off because of the fire, so we could not go in, unfortunately, but we still could see the outside of it and get it pretty close. So then we walked over to the Louvre. Unfortunately, they're closed on Tuesdays. That's the only day they're closed, which is the only day we were in Paris, so we could not go in, and we wouldn't have had time anyway because we only had one day in Paris. But we got to explore the outside, take some pictures, and then walk through the Tuileries garden after that. We got gelato. We went to the Louvre. Well, we looked on the outside of it. We toured, looked in some of the chapels and walked through the gardens. And now we're about to go to the art and the Eiffel Tower. So then we walked down Paris's most famous shopping street, which is called Champs-Élysées. And we were gonna get macaroons, but they were outrageously expensive, so we decided to pass. But we kept walking until we got to the Arc de Triomphe, and we climbed it. We just climbed the Arc.
I'm not alive.
But it's alright because it has a good view. I'll show you around.
Why is water so expensive?
So one thing we really appreciated about Paris was that it was really easy to navigate because everything was in a straight line. We literally walked for miles and miles in a straight line and hit pretty much all the highlights. So our last stop in Paris was the Eiffel Tower. Of course, you can't go to Paris without going there. But honestly, we were so tired and we couldn't walk another step. So we just sat in a field and stared at the Eiffel Tower for probably a good hour before catching a train back to our Airbnb to get our bags. Okay, we're close to Paris, about to fly out. This is what our Airbnb looks like. We actually got put in a different one than what we signed up for just because the other one was too hot, which was fine. This one was fine. There's the bathroom. Hi. And then this is the room we stayed in, that bed. And we're about to fly to Venice. This is our Airbnb. From the airport. Okay, so I wanted to explain what happened to us yesterday. Oh, there's a bee. Coming to our Airbnb yesterday was kind of scary. We ordered train tickets from Paris to where we're staying on Amiens, and it told us that it was 7:07 p.m. left at this platform, whatever. So we did it, followed everything. We double checked with 3 of the attendants and everything, and they all told us, yeah, this is the train you're supposed to get on. So we got on and realized it wasn't the right train. Luckily, it was still going the same direction, but then yeah, as soon as we got on the train, it said that it was delayed like 30 or 45 minutes. And then we were like, well, we're on the train, and then it took off at 7:07. So we were like, okay, well, it took off at the right time. We were just really confused. And then it said like, the last stop is blah, blah, blah. And like, that was the end of the train. And we were like, we're not where we're supposed to be. So then we had to find a bus. Luckily, this guy was so nice. And he was like, told us where to go, like pointed to go get on the bus, and we had to go run. And then we didn't even know where the bus was going because we didn't speak French. And it was really scary, but we got there. We ended up having to we found 4 other Americans that the same thing happened to, so we stuck with them and took a taxi with them. Thank goodness one of the girls spoke French, so that was the Lord. That man that told us the bus and that girl that spoke French and those people saved us, or else we would be lost in France. Alright, but it's a new day and we're going to Venice. Yay, walking to the airport now.